So we have come to the panel discussion, which is about fundraising versus investment challenges for crypto and DeFi startups. We have Fabio. Scacciavillani. He is UAE and New York based. He is a partner, EMINTAD, Golden Eagle Capital Advisors. He is a leading economic expert, asset manager with 30 years of international experience in macroeconomic forecasting. And he is formerly chief strategist, member of investment committee at the Women Investment Fund. His specialties are economic, research, forecasting, asset management, industry analysis, financial econometrics. And we have panelist Gavin from founder, chief investment officer, GSL Holdings. We have Marinella. She is the president, Billion Team Enterprise. We have Monica Nguyen, client services manager, Ames Markets. So go ahead, Fabio. So they will introduce themselves, then you can start the session.
Thanks, Rajan. I'm honored and pleased to be moderating this panel. We have a very, very interesting and distinct group of people. And the first question I would like to ask, we'll start from, we'll go in alphabetical order. And so I will ask Marinella, first of all, what are you looking for in an investment proposal?
Okay.
What is the perfect investment opportunity for you?
Okay, what I have to say that when they show a pitch about, for example, a crypto or a token, when we speak about a token, what are we looking for? What is this? It's a payment token. It's a security token. It's an utility token.
Marinella, can I interrupt you for a second? There is a background noise, like some sort of.
It's better that way.
I would recommend the other speakers to turn on their microphones. Probably there is some feedback.
Okay, do you hear it better?
I continue to hear this sort of intermittent whistle in the background.
Okay. I can. High definition, maybe in this way.
Can you mute your microphone? Oh, yeah, thanks. Maybe there is some.
Do you hear me better?
No.
No. Now?
I still hear this noise in the background. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. Do you hear it? Or
I can hear it too. But I tried to. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't know what's happened. My laptop. Maybe my laptop is burning.
Okay, so Marinella, then while you put your laptop in a better shape, let's ask Monica, what is your perfect proposal? What is that you would like to see in a proposal, in an investment opportunity? Monica, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah, so I was asking, what is the perfect investment opportunity for you? What is that you're looking for when you examine a proposal?
I would say from an advisor perspective and an investor's perspective. I work in startup myself for the last 2 years. So we've been on many funding rounds on our side ourselves and spoken to many shareholders and investors in the past and have working relationships with them. I would definitely say that investors are looking for a team that have a good skill set and that are capable, and also have a viable working product that we can demonstrate, and that will de-risk our business to them, and also whether our product, how big the market is, and at what speed the market is growing. Unfortunately, we are in the crypto where the crypto and financial markets meet, so that area and that market is growing on a day-to-day basis. And right now, crypto is a trending subject. So the market is growing, and there is a huge appetite out there at the moment as well. So having a good team, having a working viable product, having catering for a large market as well that is growing, that is going to exponentiate. Those are the three things that I can think of.
How early do you think people should test the market? How early would you advise them to start the fundraising?
Well, it all depends, because it all depends on their business model, where their business is at. As soon as they run out, if they can foresee that their business is running out of money, or they need a cash injection to grow their business or to recruit staff, then yes, by all means, start those conversations as soon as possible. Because what I see in the market right now, Fabio, is that we're not building fast enough. We're not building fast enough. We don't have the people today, because customers want the service today. They don't want to wait for it. So I would definitely say, speak to as many investors, go out to the market, speak to agencies, investors, anyone that you can speak to, mentors, advisors, get as much experience, get as much advice, and keep talking about your business to anyone that would listen. Because if you have a working product that you can demonstrate and a good team behind you, then you will get the investment, because there is so much interest right now, and there is a lot of money coming into the market, new money. And as long as you can show that you're filling a gap in the market as well.
What would you recommend in terms of the best channel to tap? So you have various avenues, from crowdfunding to friends and relatives, no?
Yes.
Where would you suggest to concentrate the efforts for somebody who is new in this space?
Well, definitely as a new business, like if you're just a few people are starting out, definitely your close network of people that you trust. So people that you trust, that you go to, that will give you some sort of cash injection for some equity. And as you grow your business out, definitely look for investors in the same industry as you, because those investors will be able to give you expertise. They will be able to give you their connections so that your business can continue to grow, and they can give you access to their resources. So networking, even if it means to go down crowdfunding, I think that's maybe later on, crowdfunding and agencies later on when you get to a later stage, but definitely close network to start off with, and then look for investors outside that are within the same industry.
Okay, so let's go back to Marinella, and let me reformulate the question. From an investor's point of view, we still hear this sort of noise in the background. But anyway, let's see if we can somehow get your view on the perfect business opportunity from the point of view of an investor.
Okay. When a pitch arrives to us, we do a very strict due diligence, because we are a family office. So our main purpose is to protect the capital of our partner and clients. So we ask first, what is your value proposition? What problem do you solve? What is your unique solution that other people or your competitors don't have? And after this, show me the real number. Don't lie with number, because anyway we see that it's a scam. And always when some token, because we have many offer of token, when some token arrive to us, they don't know even if it's a utility token, security token, or payment token. And there is three kind of different due diligence for each kind of token. So, for example, if it's a payment token, where is listed? How I can monetize it? And there is a lock-in period or not? Or if what is the for example, if there is a utility token, what is the adoption of this? What is the real product and service that I can buy immediately? Not tomorrow, because anyway it will be a wannabe utility token. And also, if it's a security token, where is the jurisdiction of issuing? Who is the authority that give the authorization to issue this? Because it's a sort of IPO, the security token. So, and the second assessment is about intuition, of course, because you have to put the emotion inside. And also, what is impactful, is inclusive, is eco-friendly. So there are many kind of point of view that we can put inside. It's not only one point of view.
Do you look at experience of the team, or do you prefer the innovation side of a proposal? How do you weigh experience versus vision, if I may ask?
We prefer a mix of that, because when we see the team all together, we see that there is a differentiated team, that there is young people with also old people that can put experience, and also different culture. We love the diversification also in the team.
Okay, Marinella, very, very clear, very, very straight to the point. Let me then turn to Gavin. If you can turn off your microphone, yeah, that's great. Thanks. The same question to you as well. So the pitch that you like best, what character should have?
Generally speaking, like a good approach to determining like whether a good product is a good project or a bad project is primarily, like I think Monica highlighted it earlier, it was team, traction and technology. Whether the team has a good blend of like experience within that market or good experience within that market. And then technology is like, how is this technology actually innovating or disrupting this market? If it is innovating or disrupting this market, then that is a good measure of whether that is a good investment or not. Or three, and then team traction, and then traction, of course. If the project has no momentum and it's not getting off the ground, then it has no then there's no point in investing to it, because they themselves haven't kind of gotten pushed themselves off the ground to warrant an investment. So generally speaking, it's the 3 T's. And then of course you'll need to conduct fundamental analysis on everything that they say, and do an audit report on the financials, and the tokenomics, and a whole host of other factors too. So yeah, that's my breakdown on what makes a good project or not.
Yes, and another element that gets into play is the dichotomy, or I shouldn't call it dichotomy, but definitely the 2 levels of business plan and team. So what would you like to see? What would you prefer to see? A competent, solid team with proven experience, or a business plan which is bold and convincing? What makes you, what triggers your decision?
Generally speaking, in my view, business plans tend to change. Like
Mhm.
my own experience of having my own startup, and kind of like since I'm 24, launching my first fund, it's you tend to pivot quite a lot within a startup, and those kind of pivots cannot be foreseen within a business plan. But however, with regards to like having a solid team, I'm thankful that I have a solid team. My compliance officer sits on the board of Wells Fargo, and Binance, my kind of like head of operations, is our traditional veterans in finance and have blockchain experience. We can pivot depending on the market condition, and kind of like being able to, oh, that didn't work, but this did, and being able to create solutions from the problems that you encounter from having a startup. I think the team is generally a lot better than having a solid business plan, because generally speaking, your business plan is kind of like your guide, but generally speaking, it's like, but sometimes the best laid plans can never fully come to fruition, and sometimes you kind of like not you don't really kind of fulfill your business plan, but sometimes you might even exceed your business plan by kind of pivoting and all that kind of stuff. But having a solid team will always stand you in good stead. That's my view, anyway.
No, that's very, how can I say, common. I have the common in terms of reaction, in terms of perception. I myself can confirm that rarely a business plan has withstood the passing of time, and usually in 6 months you are in a completely different
Exactly.
environment, and struggling to put patches and figure out new ways of going further. Um, Now, one issue, maybe let me ask Monica again. Let me bring her on the stage. What can you describe in one of the best proposal, one of the best deals that you've worked on?
I can only speak from the startups experience, but
No. Your experience, of course,
yeah,
your professional experience.
yeah.
What has been the project you said, "Oh, this is great. Oh, I wish I had all projects like this to work on."
I would definitely say any project that you look at, whatever background, whatever idea it is, it has to have data to support the plan and the goals, and the data to have a working product and to have data behind that working product, and to have client engagement as well, because you'll be asking for the client's feedback to move the product and the service forward, and also to test as well. So you need clients to test your beta products, and if clients invest in early into your project, they'll be your first announcers. Yeah, they're your biggest supporters. They're invested in your product, and they're your biggest believers. So they are the most, for me, because I'm in client services, obviously, but they're the most important asset in my point of view. And if they trust you, they like you, and they can see that you're working professionally and efficiently, then yeah, that's the most important part for me.
What role? I mean, in what sense and how do you bring into the picture the replicability of a project? In other words, if somebody comes with a great idea, disruptive, bold, that fills a need, it could be like the weakness could be the replicability. Somebody else can just come in, see what you've done, and do it better or just copy what you've done. How important is this factor in your assessment?
Well, unfortunately, we're in a market where, unfortunately, we're in a market where not any service is unique. Everyone's pretty much doing it, for example. So if you come into a market and there is already existing service, then you really, really have to think about, what Marinella touched on before, which is your unique selling point. What sets you apart from all the rest of the market? What gap are you filling in terms of, like, if you're going in and there's already, let's say, a Kraken, how are you going to be different from another exchange? So you really have to pick up your unique selling points. Are you going to be better customer service? Are you going to respond straight away? Are you going to have the best liquidity? So you have to really pick out what the clients are saying that is failing in the market, pick on it and really run with it, and run with it really hard. And then you will build, your team around that. You build your ideas and the way that you move towards that plan around those unique selling points. Yeah. To make yourself differentiate from the rest. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Monica. Let me go back to Marinella again. So the same question to you from the point of view of an investor. What has been your best deal? What in your professional experience, tell us, this was my dream project. I would have put all my eggs in one basket because it was just perfect.
Okay. I point out in the impactful investment, the project linked with the Sustainable Development Goals, for example. And in this difficult time, all the projects related to the post-pandemic. For example, with our team in Dubai, we are working in something that before we think that it was, we were genius. But anyway, after a few days, we saw that other people think about it, because nobody is genius in this, because all of us, we are smart people. And so we were thinking how to create a passport for vaccination, just to allow all of us to travel again, because we miss each other. We need the human relationship as before. So what we were thinking, to do a passport for vaccination and to sell this to airplane company, so we can travel again, who has the proof of vaccination on blockchain, for example.
No, but that's great. How would you achieve that? How would you make sure that whoever shows this passport at a check-in counter has been vaccinated for sure, and who would put the seal
Yes,
of
we have to trust to hospital, because they have to be authorized to put it's a kind of oracles in blockchain. It's human and automated oracles, and also about the human side. The human being can be always corrupted, but what we put inside is the responsibilities who put the data in. So will be responsible the people that put, because they have to have the digital identity first of all. Also, not who receive the vaccination, but also who do the vaccination and put the data inside the certification, inside the blockchain.
But should you also, I guess, I mean, just reasoning, just making a simple assumption that even the vaccine dose has to be somehow traceable, right?
Okay, what we want to do is not just the proof of vaccination, but also some automatization through a QR code, where because when now that there are no many vaccination, is easy to control. But when will be the mass adoption of vaccination with many kind of vaccination, so the competition also about the vaccination, the different expiring date, so it's possible that somebody can also be confused what vaccination I did before, what I have to do the second one. So with that QR code, it's impossible to do the wrong decision. Also to help the medical staff.
Okay. Very well. So the COVID epidemic brings new opportunities and new
It's not the
business.
only one, of course. There are many to come, but this is one example that I can give to you that it's happening now.
How much money would that require? A project like this, what would be the initial investment to get it off the ground?
I think not less than 1 million to start. 1 million euro to start with, because first we have to do a pilot project. After it will depend who will use. We want to do in a small region to test this with this just a few airports, and after we want to do a bigger scale. The first 6 months will be a test.
Okay. Thank you, Marinella. Let me now
Thank you.
call into play Gavin. So, same question to you. What is a project that you analyzed and found exceptional? Describe it to us.
It's hard to describe because I'm in such a privileged position where I have some like exceptional deal flow. So one project that I'm working with is trying to treat code as an asset called Codem, and then there's a cybersecurity platform, blockchain platform called Nauris that's doing some really cool stuff with governments and like how they're kind of like incorporating AI and blockchain. That's quite cool. But generally speaking, I'm kind of like I'm in a privileged position where I have exposure to a lot of projects, but probably the best kind of like it might sound bad, but I kind of acquire the best projects and kind of like merge them together and repackage them to create my own product. And so, just for background, I'm creating an alternative financial system underpinned by blockchain, where every major financial hub is a node within my network, and we connect these nodes via the GSL protocol. So the GSL protocol consists of a tokenizing asset platform, which allows you to tokenize securities, whether that be equity, bonds, or derivatives. This is achieved by putting the registrar on the blockchain. And then another part of that protocol is a hybrid exchange. So it's a centralized order book, but decentralized wallet. So you have the liquidity of a centralized exchange, but the security of a decentralized exchange, because the assessment happens peer-to-peer, but the order matching engine is centralized. So you have the liquidity of a centralized, but the security of a DEX. And then there's a token standard called the milestone-based investment, which allows for the incremental release of funds based on predetermined milestones set out in the white paper or business plan. This kind of reduces counterparty risk in VC on private equity investment. So combining these three protocols together forms the GSL protocol. And then the applications on top of that protocol, it allows you to conduct capital markets, mergers and acquisitions, and investment management on blockchain. So this is in reference to the FAT protocol hypothesis. So kind of like, you know how Web 2.0, the protocol layer is much smaller than the application layer. But with blockchain, the protocol layer is going to be much bigger than the application layer. So that's kind of like I think that's probably, it might be subjective bias, I guess, but I think that is probably the most exciting deal that I've come across. But then again, the best deal hasn't been done yet. It's always going to be in the future, really, isn't it? So
I see that you're an optimist. The optimist always believes that the best has yet to come. So
exactly.
in the area of cryptocurrencies, the decentralized finance, exchanges, so on and so forth. One of the main issues is the enforcement of contract, enforcement of transaction, recourse, legal issues, and so on and so forth. How important are these issues in your experience, and how well have they been addressed so far? So what should be, I can rephrase my question by asking, how can we improve the trust in the crypto world, into crypto transaction, into smart contracts, decentralized finance, and so on and so forth?
Should I answer?
Sure.
I think, generally speaking, what I use instead of smart contracts is recording contracts. So recording contracts are legally enforceable smart contracts. So, and also kind of like, it's very important because, like, if you were to think about it, like cryptocurrencies are illiquid assets compared to traditional compared to other asset classes. This causes volatility. This volatility causes the market to be immature, right? Because there's no confidence within that market, and that immaturity prevents adoption from like mainstream blockchain adoption. So if we were to kind of like create a regulated platform and a regulated infrastructure, you would have more confidence within this market, and you will see further adoption of the technology. Therefore, in my view, anyway, it's incredibly important to have it in a proper, legal, and compliant fashion. Instead of like kind of like having like smart contracts hacked by hackers, and then like that's my view anyway. And everything has to be accountable too.
But are we close to have reached a satisfactory level of legal protection? Is there still a wide gap? What do you think? In what stage are we? Embryonic, well developed, solid, watertight?
I do think regulators are becoming more warmer to crypto and blockchain. Generally speaking, I think I think they are more receptive, and I think we're heading in the right direction. But that doesn't mean that we're there yet. I think there's still a lot of work to be done, from particularly as an industry standpoint, to kind of like work with regulators and the lawmakers to better educate and then inform them about the power of the technology, so we can actually work together with them and move forward together. Really, that's my view.
Okay, Gavin, thank you very much. What I would say, we are almost, we have almost run out of time. If you want to take a minute for a final remark, we'll start with Monica, and then we'll conclude with Gavin again after giving the next slot to Marinella. Monica, 1 minute conclusion.
Okay, sure. Well, just touching on what Gavin just said in terms of regulation, yes, we're all for regulation. We actively work as if we're being a regulated entity, even though crypto isn't fully regulated yet. But we want the regulators to know that, crypto is not going away. If anything, it's going to grow and it's going to get bigger. So we need the financial regulators to work on our side as much as, for the benefit of the people. And how they can do that is by keeping an open mind, letting us continue our trading operations, running our business compliantly, overseen by which is absolutely fine. But also just to keep an open mind and not, come down too harsh, make loads of rules that way, the technology cannot, remain innovative and expand and grow. So not too hard on us.
Thanks, Monica. Marinella, your 1 minute conclusive remark.
Okay, I want to remark the link to the who want to pitch us, keep it simple. Because every time that we read the pitch is us to solve the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, well,
because it's very difficult to find the useful information. I say to everybody, please do a business model canvas. That in a business model canvas, I have all the data that I need in one site, and after I will decide what I want to go deeply. And also, when it comes to usability and how we can push the crypto world, the question that you did before to Gavin, it's the mass adoption also, and also the friendly user about the application, because it's very difficult to make understand how to do to use the application for normal people that are not involved in. So if they have to use a third person, that how is this? Because blockchain doesn't need the third parties, but if you say that you need always a consultant to do that, it's not possible. So you have to do education and also a friendly user about the application for the crypto world.
Marinella, I can't agree more. The user friendliness of any innovation is key. Steve Jobs has underlined that and made a sort of raison d'etre of his
Thank you. Thank you to agree with me.
Gavin, you have the privilege of the last word.
Obviously this is a nascent industry, but we're going to see the market mature exponentially in the coming years, right? So let's work with regulators, not against regulators, and to kind of like stay true to the blockchain, to the philosophies of blockchain, and try to as a community educate people more on the technology so we can actually achieve this decentralized future at a faster rate. That's all. And of course, buy Bitcoin and short the banks. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Gavin. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you, and to those people who have been following us so far. I have a question for the panel. The pandemic will have long-lasting effects on life and the economy on a global scale. Has this caused the shift of interest to fund ventures in specific areas? Who wants to give a quick answer to our?
Okay, I can say. Sorry, can I?
Go ahead, man. Then we'll have.
Okay, I can say that it's 10 years that we don't look in a real estate project, so we don't look now too.
Okay, Gavin.
I think, generally speaking, kind of like where I'm kind of like made some investments is kind of like to make more transparent supply chains, because I think going forwards, I think if we were to have more transparent supply chains and have relevant data points pertaining to those supply chains, we could potentially that could potentially be better going forward as we come out of this pandemic, because from my perspective anyway, I think particularly with the PPE market, there's kind of like ineffective PPE supplies. I think kind of supply chains are going to be key going forward, and having more transparent supply chains is going to be key as we get out of this pandemic. That's kind of like one thing I can add to that.
Thank you. Monica, have you seen this shift into particular areas as a result of the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's at home. So when they're at home, they'll be able to Google, research Bitcoin that they never get around to, before, cryptocurrencies, blockchains. So people have the internet on their hands to learn and to invest their more money. More retail money is coming in because people are staying at home. More institution money is coming into the market, as we've seen with the headlines with PayPal, Square, Grayscale. So all the crypto businesses that I'm aware of and that I've seen online are doing extremely well. We can't recruit people fast enough. We can't develop fast enough. We need everything today. So that's a booming market in my point of view.
Okay. Well, with these words, we conclude our session, our panel. And once again, thanks. And I go back to Rajan. I'm not sure if he's there. Yeah, here it is. Good evening or good night, depending on where you are in the world.
Fabio, we have some questions. You want to take it up?
Oh yeah, I took the question from the chat, but if you have other questions, please go ahead.
Okay, you have finished the question from the chat, right?
From the chat, yeah, I think there was only one from Anna.
Okay. I think from my side, I think nothing much. There was some disturbance in my net, so I couldn't able to see your sessions mostly.
Okay, so what shall we do? Shall we conclude the
we can
panel?
this session.
Okay.
Once again, thank you, Gavin, Marinella, Monica, Fabio, for taking out the best from the panelist and giving it for the audience. Thank you. Thank you. Look forward. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.